Yeah, I'm back. Just leaving the Seminole Police Department, guys. And I gotta say, their sergeant was very polite. I'm surprised that the officer's actions. The sergeant doesn't reflect that. Like in my opinion, the sergeant doesn't reflect what those officers' actions showed on the 11th. This guy was polite. He didn't try to discourage me from getting the complaint form. He actually wanted to see if he can alleviate the problem or help the situation. But he, in no way did he try to keep me from getting this complaint form, nor did he try to make me fill it out there. He actually brought out a pen and the board for me to fill it out with, but I told him I wanted to take it, and he said, sure, you can take it, it's no problem. Take it and fill it out and bring it back. But if there's something that I can do, he said, because this complaint's gonna go to the and we're by the casino, so it's probably a bad connection. I don't know if you're gonna get me with all of this interview, but he told me that this is how it works. This is gonna go up into internal affairs and be investigated by internal affairs. But as the superior officers to those officers, he wanted to know if there was something he can do before it reached that point, and if it wasn't, he totally understands. And I told him that I didn't want to talk to him about it, because the conduct of, I told him exactly like this. I said, the conduct of your officers. I told him the conduct of your officers, of those officers, the other day was such that I don't think they care about having the answer to you as their supervisor. That's what I told him. And in those words, I believe those were my exact words. It was to that effect. It was, I don't think they think that they have to answer to you about their actions. And he looked with a stoic look on his face, a shocked, well, not stoic, but shocked look on his face, and he shook his head, and I shook my head, and then I was like, so therefore I'm not going to share this, whatever happened, with you. I'm just going to fill this out and bring it back in. And he said, well, just make sure you fill it out and bring it back as soon as possible, so we can address this issue as soon as possible. Now, I don't know if it's because of the recent test that was conducted at the various police stations down in South Florida, but this guy was right to the letter. He was down to the letter. He didn't try to hinder me from getting this complaint form at all. So kudos to the news station that conducted the investigation with the various police departments and exposed the corruption, exposed them not wanting to give the complaint forms out. Kudos to that news station. Hold on, let me turn my camera around, because these people, I'm back. These people have to be held accountable for their actions. They like to hold people accountable. They like to require perfection from every citizen. or every so-called citizen in this country, but they want to be above accountability. They want to be above the law. So I'm glad they were exposed, and it seemed like it happened in a nick of time, just before this incident happened with me. So it was great timing for this to happen, because that Sergeant Porter, I believe his name was, he performed his duties well. And I can't believe, I even asked him, I was like, I want to make sure I'm at the right agency. Is this agency 1095 or 1075? Because the guy wrote on the ticket the guy wrote, he wrote so sloppily and illegibly that you can't barely make out what the numbers even are. So he was like, yeah, this is 1075, agency 1075. I was like, well, okay, this is the right one. So now let me explain something to you. These guys that pulled me over with my wife and my 2 young children the other day, they pulled me over probably, I want to say 15 to 20 miles from where their police station is. So they're way out of their jurisdiction. First of all, he pulled me over way out of his jurisdiction. He was in an unmarked car, whereas I shouldn't have even stopped, because the reason I was changing lanes is I wanted to make sure that this guy was following me, because there's so many people get robbed and killed down here in South Florida that way. People will follow them in their cars. They'll run into the back of the car, or they'll impersonate police officers and turn lights on, and you'll think it's an unmarked police car and pull over, and then bam, you got a gun in your face, you're getting robbed or shot and killed, or both, robbed and shot and killed. So I shouldn't have even stopped for those guys until they got a marked police car vehicle out there to pull me over. Because mind you, I had a 5-year-old in the car, my 5-year-old daughter, and I had an 8-year-old in the car, and my wife. So imagine had that been a police impersonator, that would have got ugly. That would have gotten ugly. And they're making excuses. Well, we can pull you over in Florida. We can. That law doesn't apply to Florida. Well, it should, because South Florida is one of the worst places when it comes to violence in this country. So yeah, I'm gonna fill out the paperwork. I got it. He gave me the complaint form, and I had told my wife before I left home, I was like, well, I'm going to get this complaint form. I was like, and if I don't come back, you know where I'm at. You know what happened. So here's the complaint form. He gave it to me with no questions, no problem. No, not one problem. Not any type of resistance. Like, if you watch that video on YouTube where those guys were giving people pure hell not to give them a complaint for, literally they even arrested the guy. One of the guys got arrested. They were giving people pure hell. Which I'm in another area where there's a bad connection. I don't know if y'all seeing this or what, but I'm in another area with a bad connection, which is usually they got so much going on the turnpikes and on these places. But yeah, they were giving people pure hell to get to give them complaint forms, and never gave one. I mean, it was only like 2 or 3 agencies that actually gave people complaint forms, and they went to like over 30 agencies, and these guys was saying I can make up, I can, make up something to arrest you for, and things like that. Just horrible conduct by the police. And then you wonder why they get such a bad rap. You get such a bad rap because of the way you carry yourself and you act. Like, there's very little care in this country. Very little care in this country for humanity, especially for people of color. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm just gonna say it. Very little care, very little empathy, compassion. But it is what it is. I'm very happy to be in the skin that I'm in. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm happy to be in the skin that I'm in. I'm so honored that the Most High chose me as his people. I'm honored that he chose me. And I'm going to represent that. I'm going to represent his people as best I can and be an example for the rest of my people to wake up to. Stop pushing the snooze button. Wake up, because it's not going to get any better before it gets worse. You feel what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to stop being docile and submissive to people that have the worst intentions for you, that has the intention to mistreat or misuse their authority, mistreat you and misuse their authority. I'm not having it. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna, since keep getting this bad connection, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I'm going to update you on the status of what's going on with this complaint form, because I'm going to turn it back in by Monday. I'm going to turn it in. I'm going to read over it thoroughly. I'm going to include the officers that encountered me, because the other ones, they stayed away from me, so I never got their names or badge numbers. But there was one officer that lied, and it's on recording, it's recorded. He lied and said he gave me the first officer's badge number, and then when I asked him for his name, he told me it didn't matter. Don't matter what his name is. So, but he was riding in the car, I believe, with that officer, the first officer that pulled me over. He was riding in the car with him. So I know they work for the same department. I'm gonna put that in the information on the complaint form, and I want him reprimanded as well. They need to be reprimanded. They need to be retrained and fired if necessary. They can be fired for all I care, because they handle everything horribly wrong. So they can be fired for all I care, man. People like that don't deserve to be police officers anyway, because they only chose that job so that they can do what they did. They can misuse and abuse authority. Like, you way out of your jurisdiction and you pull over a car with a whole family in it that's doing nothing, absolutely nothing. So with that being said, man, I'll get back with you guys later on this, let you know about how the complaint form went. And this is going to be an investigation. Those officers are going to be investigated by Internal Affairs, because I'm not going to relent until they do. I'm not going to stop until I hear from Internal Affairs that they've been investigated and whatever happens, happened, or whatever. And after that, I don't know what other measures I can take, but that's where I'm pushing it to. I'm not gonna talk to your sergeant, because your sergeant is trying to keep you from getting in trouble. He's trying to keep you from getting investigated by Internal Affairs. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'll get with you guys on the next video. Peace.